Hi guys, welcome to this African perspective. Thank you all for stopping by. Okay, so today we're checking out a video on people actually talking about how they left the US and why they did leave the US. They say the new American dream is to leave. Okay, like you don't have to stay. That staying is actually not the dream because you are not living any dream due to the inflation and the economy and how everything is like a literal struggle today. The state in which almost everybody is just kept in poverty, everybody's just struggling. It's just a constant struggle. So we're going to be checking out this video and seeing what people actually think and why they are leaving, as the migration from the US is kind of increasing slowly. Most people are going to other countries and they feel like their money can actually go far for them and they'll be able to just survive and live a more happier life. And it is less expensive to live in other places than it is to live in the US because it's so expensive here. And yeah, so let's check out this video. But before we do, make sure you please click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Let's get right into it.
I think the new American dream is to leave, to pack up and head to a quiet European town or a beachside village in Asia, somewhere where we aren't being poisoned by our food, we don't need 2 to 3 jobs to survive, and where healthcare isn't a luxury, but the norm. Someplace where people stop and appreciate the little things and enjoy the slow life. A safe place where the community comes together and supports one another. We've been misled to believe that life is about enduring our circumstances and place of birth, but it is not a requirement in life that you have to stay in the same place you were born and spend your life struggling. Hands down, the best part about being a US citizen is our ability to leave the US and travel abroad to seek out a better life. So let's take a moment to recognize how lucky we are that we can leave. Let's focus on getting remote jobs or building online businesses, grab our passports, and take advantage of the fact that because of the internet, we have the ability to earn US level income from anywhere in the world. The fact is, the old American dream just simply does not serve us anymore. And the new American dream lies beyond our borders.
So I'm an American who's living in Europe, more specifically Italy, and I don't think that Americans talk enough about how leaving America feels like kind of like leaving the Matrix a little bit. It feels like Europe is living life the way we were supposed to live life, in walkable communities with public transport, with food that you can actually digest that's actually like affordable. Not to mention like free healthcare, and like you can walk down the street without being afraid of being shot or like unalived at the grocery store. Like this is just like where humanity should be. This should be the base level of how we should spend our days. You know what I mean? And even after a year of living here and after 10 years of visiting, I still get culture shocked in like a good way. Like I'm like, why aren't we like this in the USA? And one of those things is that Italian parents look out for their children even after they turn 18, meaning like they will go to bat, they will be there financially, emotionally, anything for their children even after they turn 18. I remember when I first started coming here, I was like shocked. I was like, what do you mean you're 23 and you don't pay your own bills? What do you mean? But now as I get older and I see like the value of, parents actually giving a shit and actually investing in their children's future and how it benefits their children to succeed in the long run, I'm like, what the fuck are American parents doing? And I know that so many Americans are experiencing such like profound discontentment and sadness. And I think it's because our way of life is fundamentally broken. Our country is the bad place. I love Americans. I love us. I love our heart. I love our undying spirit. But our country itself, the system is totally fucking broken. The way that like children get shot at school and then you go into debt for getting cancer. Everybody's obese because there's food deserts everywhere. McDonald's is cheaper than making food at home. This isn't normal. This is not normal. You can be pro-America and still want a better life for Americans, okay? Okay.
Reasons why you should leave America. Number 1, there are parts of the world that are so much more affordable to live than America. Take this villa, for example. I'm literally paying half for this villa than what I would be paying for a studio apartment in my hometown. And I'm not from Los Angeles or Boston. I'm from the Intermountain West. Number 2, the USA has become completely mentally ill. Everything that you see online, it's divisive, it's angry, it's pitting you against everyone that you know. There's a palpable anger in the streets that is coming to a boiling point. Now, my advice to you is not to simply run away from the problem and just let America burn. My advice is instead to take yourself out of the pressure cooker, even if it's just for a few months, and travel the world. Clear your mind so that you can either go back to the US and be able to bring your positive mindset to the people around you there, or just leave the US entirely and create content like this that is geared towards people who live in your country in the pursuit of trying to inspire them to take themselves out of the pressure cooker so that they can see the world a little bit more clearly as well.
Yeah, it is actually very cheaper in other places. And like I said, sometimes, you might actually see some countries that are way cheaper. Like if you check their rent and everything, it is extremely cheap. And then you'll be like, due to the fact that you're actually comparing it to the currency, the US dollar. But in reality, when you check the average income in that country, you notice that the average income is actually pretty much not much to you, due to maybe the money that you're used to, the paycheck that you're used to getting and stuff like that. But I think some people that have remote jobs and they're able to still earn much, sometimes you just don't need to be extremely rich or earn that much, as long as you just find happiness. And I think sometimes there are a lot of people that actually say that their mental health actually becomes better when they leave the US.
I don't have a car. I'm not a therapist anymore. I'm not a homeowner and landlord anymore. I recently closed down my private practice, sold my house and my red Mercedes-Benz, paid off all my debt and student loans, and shifted into my dream life of living in a beach town in Mexico. I live in a beautiful penthouse apartment with a jacuzzi and a pool in the lobby and a 5-minute walk to the beach for less than I could pay anywhere in America for that kind of space. I'm sharing this with you today because you holding on to old shit. Old titles, old relationships, old clothes, old ideas. It's all not serving you anymore. People tell me all the time they want to build their dream life. And I'm like, okay, are you ready to release some shit? And they like, nah, I want to hold on to it. Hold on to it, babe. Hold on to it. Because you had said that you were ready for the next level. The only way to move to the next level is to release the shit from the old level. And that's why I celebrate the fact that
if you don't like living here, why don't you move somewhere else? Move to another country. There's 54 countries in Africa. Why not move to one of those? Pick one. Pick one and move there. Get your citizenship and then see what happens when you start talking about their country and how corrupt it is. See where that lands you. If America is such a racist place, it's evil and it... Come on, man. Leave then. This is the best country on planet Earth. Hands down. The fact of the matter is, you've never been anywhere. That's the problem. If you go somewhere else, you'll see that America is the best country on the planet. Period. Point blank.
I can't do this anymore. I'm moving out of America in the next 3 weeks by any, and I mean any, means necessary. I'm genuinely going crazy having to live in a toxic American capitalist society. But they say if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So although I have less than 2 months left on my lease and I'm trying to find a subleaser and the odds are stacked against me, I'm gonna pack up and get ready to go. So I went out and got a storage unit and started setting my stuff up because I'm not gonna sit around and wait for somebody else's confirmation. I also sold my car yesterday. I'll never forget you, girl. I'm convinced that by physically removing my stuff from this space, that it will no longer be mine. Like, I'm so close to being fucking free. I literally feel it. I see it on the other side. She's over there living her best life. Look at her. So although I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do it or where I'm going, I can guarantee you I will be out of this apartment in the next 10 days and in a new country by the first week of January 2024. I'm going to continue to document my journey and experience because I don't think people really realize how accessible it is to change your entire reality.
So many people's mental health has really gotten better because they notice a whole different way of life. This is not to say that the US is not working for some, it's actually working for some people. But for those who are actually tired of it and feel like, oh, they're tired, they want to go somewhere else, I guess these videos are just to show you how other people are doing who actually thought they needed to leave also, and how they are doing in other places. Because some people might just have this fear. They might feel like, oh, I don't really know if I should go elsewhere. I don't know how life is going to be. Of course, really it is cheaper. than it is here.
I have to work 60 hours a week and make $80,000 a year to make ends meet.
That video is exactly the reason why I moved out of the United States. I was working 60-hour weeks, getting paid $60,000 a year with my mortgage payment of over $3,000 a month. I had to rent out rooms in my home in order not to just sink and get into debt. I saw myself living that life where constantly all you do every day, work, go home, sleep, work, go home, sleep, work, go home, sleep, work, go home, sleep, and you get one day off, and then every day is the same. Collect your paycheck, save up for a vacation, go on the vacation. While you're on the vacation, you're just stressed out because you know the vacation's costing you money that you have to go back and make at the job that you hate because it takes up all your time. I found myself in that cycle, and I decided no. I said, no, I'm not going to live it. And I literally quit my job, literally put my house up for sale, sold almost everything, and hopped on a flight. And ever since I've done that, I am happier than I have ever been. I see an entirely new life for myself.
Americans are leaving the United States en masse. 2022, more Americans left the United States than in the prior 5 years combined.
So I don't necessarily agree with the language that Americans are leaving en masse. We immigrate much less than people in other countries do. And of course, it's increasing now that the pandemic is over. But I do agree that we are beginning to see movement of people leaving the U.S. I think people are souring on the U.S., and I think that they are starting to realize that life could be better elsewhere. It is hard to leave the U.S. First of all, it's a big, huge, sprawling country with endless things to see and do. But more than that, I think it's like the Truman Show, where we are raised to believe that there are things to fear outside of every border. If you've never lived abroad, tell me you aren't at least a little bit afraid of the unknown. On top of that, we typically don't speak a second language, and English-speaking countries are the most expensive to live in and the most difficult to move to. Finally, most of us are trapped in underpaying jobs that keep us from being able to travel, or we wear golden handcuffs in high-paying jobs. It's hard and scary, and in a lot of ways, it's even mundane and boring to move abroad. There is endless bureaucracy and red tape, but I think the math is changing to make it worth the effort, and that's why you're going to see more and more people leaving, maybe even en masse. Find out what country you should move to at expatsy.com.
So this is my first time in the States in 3 years since I've been living in Barcelona, and I've been here for 5 days now. I don't like my city, so I'm not enjoying that, but I have been eating well, and that's great. However, it's 9 in the morning, and I was thinking, if I was in Barcelona, I would walk down to the coffee shop, have me a hot coffee in the cold air, and be people watching, and I can go get a coffee here. But I don't want to sit in a coffee shop and watch people come in and out, work on their laptops, watch cars go by out the window. No. I want to sit outside. I want to see old couples walking and holding hands, families, kids on their scooters and balance bikes, and dogs walking in the street. And I want to see life happening around me. Like, I don't want to see cars and highways. That's not my vibe anymore.
They have a lot of areas all the time that you can just sit in, and there's this like sense of community type of lifestyle, and it's just not a place where everybody just literally just mind their business. And yeah, it's good to actually mind your business, but when it becomes too much, I feel like in America, it's a kind of place where if you are living on your own, let's say you can easily become like a really serious introvert where you don't even like have friends or anything. You could actually maybe be dead or sick or helpless or whatever for maybe you could die, and you stay in that house for possibly a week or to a month until they perceive the smell of your rotten dead body. That's when they would know that, oh, something is wrong with this person, because your neighbors really do not know you. They don't see you passing by, they don't care. But it's just so in some places, like, they have this community type of lifestyle, and just to be able to like sit outside and just be seeing people pass by. Sometimes you can say hi, you can get to know people like strangers, and like people just walking around, just chill, like they're not rushing to go to work. They are not people are just doing like small businesses on the outside, like it depends on which country. They are like children playing outside, like there's no big fear of, oh, they're going to be kidnapped by pedophiles or anything, or you're just walking around and not having the fear that somebody who is feeling depressed and crazy is just going to show up from nowhere and start shooting you guys, because people in some places do not even have gun or have a need for it. And so there's just so many perks. Not to say like we're not going to diminish the fact that in every place you go to in life, there's always like those places always have disadvantages and advantages. There are places like that. You cannot just say, oh, this place is totally bad. No, every place have its bad and good things to it. But yeah, we're just looking at other places, and due to the fact that the America has become so expensive, some people are just giving up on it and saying, you know what, I don't have to like be in this situation and keep struggling.
We've been here since March, and I think the quality of life in Dubai is so much better than in America. It's no joke. Like, you have no idea. Super clean out here. Super convenient, super safe. Like I said, I don't have to worry about no pew 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 or nothing like that. I could be out late at any time of the night or day and not have to be like worried about my safety. And anything else? I don't know. I just love the culture. I love that I'm a Muslim person living out here as well. I find myself like dressing more modestly and like embracing Islam more than I was in the US. Just a lot of things. I like it.
A 16-year-old was shot by a homeowner after ringing the wrong doorbell.
It never ends. It is this vicious cycle of gun violence and racism and fearing for our safety. For ringing the wrong doorbell? When does it end? There's a lot of people who will stay and fight, and I think it is incredibly brave. But there are also people who just want to know that they are safe and want their peace of mind. And I see stuff like this and I'm like, there's no way I want to stay here. I don't want to stay in the US. The amount of mental trauma that we hold as Black people here in the US is insane. We are reminded almost every single day that we are not safe, that our family members aren't safe, and that we are just moments away from being racially profiled and the potential of our life being taken away. This is why we're leaving.
I moved from America to Jamaica 4 months ago, and here's some things about my life that have changed since then. First, I gained 15 pounds. I came down here at 130 and now I'm around 145. I think it's because I actually like the food, so I've been eating a lot. I had my first hotel collab with a Jamaican hotel, and that's really exciting. It's not the hotel in this video, but you'll see it soon. My nervous system has calmed down so much. Like, I am no longer always anxious or thinking about what should I be doing next. I work hard during the week, and on the weekends, I take that time to be with my friends, relax, go to the beach, and I love it. Next, I realized I'm not that much of an introvert as I used to think I was. I see my friends almost every single week. I don't think I've gone one weekend without seeing them in some shape or form, and that has actually helped me to be like a happier person. And overall, I just think I got my vibe back. Like, I realized it was me isolating myself in America that made me kind of lose that personality, that girl that wanted to always have fun and spontaneous and be around people. A lot of people, especially in my TikTok comments, were like, no, go back home, don't come to Jamaica, you're going to regret it. And I mean, so far I haven't, and I hope you guys are still following the journey and watching my life unfold in Jamaica. Okay, bye.
These are 3 reasons why I'm moving out of the US. Number 1 is way of living. Now, I do love America in the aspect that you can do anything you want. For the most part, I'll say. For the good majority, you can do whatever you want. You're entitled to do that. You're entitled to make how much money or how little money, do this or that, whatever. But I do think it's also important for me because I know I don't always want to live in that hustle and bustle. That is one thing that America is. It's sort of hustle and bustle. You can live a slower life in America, but overall, you're going to have somewhat of a fast-paced life, especially with technology. So moving overseas, it's a completely different way of life. Like in different countries like Mexico and Africa and Asia, wherever, there are a lot of different places who focus on life being life instead of maybe the 9-to-5 hustle culture. I don't want to live in that forever. Number 2 is the new experiences. Now, I've been in America my whole life. I've been here for 24 years, but I've been outside the country. I've been to France, Italy, Greece. I went to Mexico. And I've been to a good bit of states around the country. So I do enjoy the fact that I've been able to travel a good bit in my life. But to be honest, that's nothing in comparison to the full world. Like, there are over hundreds of countries. There's 7 continents. Like, the world is humongous. There's almost 8 billion people on the world. Like, it's really a different experience everywhere you go. So I really want to go out and experience what it is to just live a completely different life. Like, wake up at this time. Like, I know in different countries, they have different traditions where they don't work as hard, where they have breaks on their work day, where they might not even work certain days, where even work they don't do. They build and they barter with each other. They lay on the land, they live on the land. There's completely different ways of living, and I have to experience that as well. And number 3, money. I mean, let's be real. I mean, America ain't cheap. Come on now. Like, we're here, we see it. America is not cheap. Like, inflation's crazy. We're in a recession right now. Like, there are multiple things going on. So I do think while the US dollar is still important, don't get me wrong, like, having money is still important. Being able to utilize that money where it will stretch further overseas is the world. Like, you can literally live a completely different lifestyle overseas. Like, I have a remote job. I've had remote jobs my whole life pretty much. So I've always had that flexibility to sort of location freedom. I can be where I want to be for the most part, but having a fully remote job, still making good money, and living in a different country, you can literally pay like a third, a fourth, a fifth of what your monthly expenses are now, and you can live a richer, better lifestyle overall.
I don't know why a lot of my fellow Ghanaians actually think like this. If you're a Ghanaian, or not even just a Ghanaian, you could just be West African in general, or somebody that's just from Africa in general. I don't know why a lot of you guys actually think that America is a place where it's flowing with milk and honey. It's all rainbows and sunshines and cookies and cream. Massa, it is not like that at all. The only good thing I can really say is America is definitely the land of opportunity. If you really come here and you work hard and you focus, you can definitely make it. But it's not going to be easy. Let me tell y'all something, man. A lot of y'all come into this country and y'all start to find out that, man, this country is really, really tough. The one thing they don't tell you guys is that, number one, if you're coming into this country and you don't have a place to stay, massa, you're going to suffer. We pay rent every single month. It's not like Ghana where we pay rent at least once a year, or, you pay once every 3 years or something like that, depending on whatever it is. We pay rent every single month. We pay rent, we pay car bills, we pay light, we pay electricity, even the air conditioning. And from everything in this country, you pay for it. From phone bill, every single month. I'm trying to tell you, the system in Ghana is completely different from the system here in America. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, if you guys are really, really coming into the United States, make sure, I'm telling you, make sure you got a good place to stay and you got papers to work with. Because if you don't have your papers, you're gonna be working these under-table jobs. These under-table jobs will pay you so low, you're gonna wish, you're gonna wish, Christ, that you're back in Ghana. I'm telling you right now, if you want to come to this country, please make sure you have your papers. Make sure you find a way to actually get your papers. Number 2, make sure you have a good place to stay. Because if you come here, Massa, you're going to just come and see these other people that are over here that are suffering. There are a lot of people that are struggling here in this country. America is not a place of milk and honey, cookies and sunshine. When you come into the system, make sure you understand how the system works. Learn how the system works. I'm trying to tell you, talk to somebody who knows the system. Let them teach you how the system works so that you can be very well educated before you step foot in this country. Because I don't want you to step foot in this country without actually being prepared.
Definitely, there are a lot of people actually rushing. As you can see with the whole migrant issues and how many people are living in different countries, trying to rush into the US and live here. So yeah, for many people that are outside of this country, they actually find it like a dream. It is a dream, like, to be in the US. They are going to make it, they are going to become rich, they are going to do so many things and become successful, and their life is going to change. Because as we know, there are a lot of immigrants that when they are in this country, they work hard and make some money, and then the most of the money that they get, they send it back to their country, build a lot of like houses, build mansions, and then people that are actually back home will see all of that and be like, oh my god, like, look at this house, like, this person builds this house and they actually live in the US. That is why they're able to do it. But they actually do not know how hard the person worked and the job that they did. I tell you, like, most immigrants, some of them even have about 3 jobs. They have to do like so many jobs. They just keep doing it again and again and again and keep sending money back home. And there are some that actually happen to not even make it to the house that they're building or wherever they're building back home to retire back to, because they die, because the work is just too much. Like, they're being overworked, they're working hard. Because sometimes I think as a human being we need rest. Like, we need to actually take a break from burning yourself out too much. You need to just like relax and just try to just rest, because as much as you need that money to survive, you also need to take a break. Your body is not a machine, and even if you overwork a machine also, it actually breaks down. So talk more of you as a human being.